We will not forgive. We will not forget. We will hunt you down and make you pay.
Off the top at 11, President Biden vowing revenge after suicide bombers attacked Kabul's airport, killing 13 U.S. service members. Disturbing images showing people crying for help in the aftermath of the two blasts.
Flags lowered to half-staff at the White House today and on Capitol Hill in honor of the victims.
Here's what we know. 13 U.S. service members were killed, with another 18 injured.
An Afghan official says at least 60 Afghans died in that attack and at least 143 others were wounded. The bombings were carried out by a group called ISIS-K, a sworn enemy of the Taliban.
The attacks happening amid a desperate race to evacuate people ahead of President Biden's withdrawal deadline, now just days away.
U.S. officials are making it clear their military mission will go on despite the threat of more attacks. We have live team coverage tonight on the airport attacks, beginning with our D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy in Washington. Ben.
Calvin, Nicole, President Biden said the U.S. will not be intimidated. Those evacuations are still ongoing. In fact, 7,500 people were evacuated in about a 12-hour period despite those attacks.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
President Biden promised retaliation against ISIS-K, the Islamic State affiliate in Afghanistan, behind the attack at the airport in Kabul.
The lives we lost today were lives given in the service of liberty, the service of security, the service of others.
At least 13 U.S. service members and 60 Afghans were killed and more than a dozen Americans wounded after two explosions at the airport in Kabul near Abbey Gate.
The attack on the Abbey Gate was followed by a number of ISIS gunmen who opened fire on civilians and military forces.
The Pentagon says one ISIS suicide bomber detonated outside a security checkpoint and another near the Barron Hotel, which is a short distance from that same gate. Devastating images show the wounded on the streets. The explosions happened hours after the U.S. Embassy in Kabul warned Americans to leave the airport. Thursday, the White House lowered flags to half-staff to honor the victims.
These American service members who gave their lives, it's an overused word, but it's totally appropriate here, we're heroes.
Any day where you lose service members is maybe the worst day of your presidency, and hopefully there's not more.
The Taliban also condemned the attack, calling it disgraceful.
Targeting innocent civilians is an act of terrorism.
The attack comes just 5 days before the planned U.S. military exit.
We thought this would happen sooner or later. It's tragic that it happened today. It's tragic there was this much loss of life. We are prepared to continue the mission.
About 5,000 Americans have been evacuated so far as U.S. troops are on track to leave at the end of the month.
It is essential to get out by the 31st.
President Biden said the longer American soldiers remain on the ground in Afghanistan, the greater the danger they face.
We will not be deterred by terrorists. We will not let them stop our mission. We will continue the evacuation. I've also ordered my commanders to develop operational plans to strike ISIS-K assets, leadership, and facilities.
And President Biden remains in constant contact with his national security team tonight as they prepare to move and target ISIS-K in the region. Live in Washington, D.C., Ben Kennedy, Local 10 News.
The president not backing down. Thanks, Ben.
Our team coverage continues with Local 10's Roy Ramos.
And he's live with what one expert is saying about the situation on the ground and the challenges ahead. Roy.
Nicole and Calvin, well, the expert we spoke with says he's concerned with the location of the Kabul airport, saying it jeopardizes the safety of civilians as well as Americans. He also worries about the people he says will be left behind, including a personal friend.
So this is a tragedy for the United States and a tragedy for our position in the world.
Graphic images coming out of Kabul following a deadly attack killing scores of civilians and at least 13 U.S. servicemen Thursday.
Obviously, these splinter groups like Haqqani Network and like ISIS, they don't follow the Taliban, they don't obey the Taliban, and they're going to try to do their own terrorist attacks.
The explosions happened hours after the U.S. Embassy in Kabul warned Americans to leave the airport amid fears of ISIS-affiliated attacks. An airport former senior intelligence advisor to the Afghan police, Ron Alito, believes was the worst location to begin pulling people out of the country.
And it's obviously a dangerous place because it's surrounded by the urban areas of the city. It's in the middle of the city. So any sniper can attack them. The approach is a lot easier, a lot faster.
Safety, just one issue. Alito says the size of the airport isn't large enough to house the hundreds of thousands that we are seeing attempting to flee Afghanistan. His worry, many more, like his friend, who is a lieutenant for the Afghan police, will be left behind.
He's hiding. He's afraid that the Taliban will come into his house in any moment and kill him. And I'm trying to get him out of there. So this is emotional for me.
And following the expected departure of the U.S. by the end of the month, Alito does believe there will be more challenges that lie ahead. He says the U.S. government has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars educating the most elite Afghanis. Unfortunately, they are now the ones trying to flee that country. For now, here in West Park, Roy Ramos, Local 10 News.
1,500 families allegedly still remain over there. Thanks a lot.